When the Acolyte was first announced, a lot of Star Wars fans were genuinely excited. A new era, a fresh timeline, and finally a chance to explore the Jedi at their peak, long before Anakin Skywalker and the Clone Wars. We were promised something bold, something that would challenge what we knew about the Force and the Jedi. And to be fair, it does try to do that, but along the way something got lost. Because instead of being a mind-blowing new take on Star Wars, the Acolyte ended up dividing the fanbase and disappointing a lot of longtime viewers. So let's start with what the show actually does right. The Acolyte is set 100 years before The Phantom Menace, in a time where the Jedi are respected and in full control. But instead of being the wise, humble peacekeepers we remember, these Jedi are distant, political, and kind of arrogant. They ignore warnings, they shut down opposing views, and they seem more interested in rules than people. This version of the Jedi isn't evil, but it's clear they're out of touch, and that's the point. For fans who've always wondered how the Jedi could miss Palpatine's rise, or how they could lose Anakin, the Acolyte gives us some answers. They were already broken, just not in the way we expected. For all the interesting ideas, the Acolyte struggles to tell a great story. The pacing feels rushed, the writing is inconsistent, some of the characters like Saul or Asha could be interesting but they don't get enough depth. You've got this whole mystery around the murders, the twins, the masked Force user, but it doesn't land. It feels like it wants to be Endor or The Mandalorian, but it's not quite there. And honestly, the tone is all over the place. Some episodes feel like a detective show, others feel like a martial arts series, and then suddenly it's trying to be philosophical about the Force. And then you have the fan reaction, which has been really rough. On Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score has been really low. A lot of people say that the show feels disconnected from the Star Wars they grew up with. Now, to be fair, some of the backlash is overblown, there's definitely review bombing happening, but if we're being honest, there are real valid criticisms too. A lot of fans feel like The Acolyte, and Disney Star Wars in general, has become more about making political statements than telling great stories. Star Wars was always about rebellion, power, and moral struggle, yes, but it wasn't about checking boxes. It was about timeless themes that connected with everyone, not modern agendas. When diversity and representation serve the story, they're powerful, but when they're forced or added just to prove a point, audiences notice. That's the issue here. Characters should be compelling because they're well written, not because they represent a demographic. Disney seems to be thinking that progressive means sacrificing depth and subtlety, but real fans just want stories that mean something, not lectures in space. And this isn't just fans being toxic, it's fans expecting quality storytelling from a franchise they care about deeply, and not getting it. And that's exactly what makes The Acolyte frustrating. It could have been something great. The idea of a Jedi who questions the Order, of the Force being more than just light versus dark, of exploring the High Republic era in live action, that's all super exciting. But the way it's presented just doesn't stick the landing. It's not that fans don't want change, it's that they want it done with care, with depth, and with storytelling that feels earned. So here's the big question, did The Acolyte actually change what we know about the Jedi? Well, yes it did. But did it deliver on that premise in a way that satisfies fans? Not really. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did the show work for you, or did it miss the mark? And if you're into honest Star Wars breakdowns, good or bad, make sure to subscribe. I post every couple of days and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Until the next time.